Hello and welcome back to Factorio Vanilla 1.0. In our last episode, we started building some science here on the bus, as well as we dealt with a few biter camps out in the wild that were in or very near the pollution zones, especially the expansion biters that were harrying our stuff inside of our base because we were irritating them because they moved in. So in this episode, I want to continue with the science building. We're going to build gray science in this episode, and then probably also stage out the blue science. We obviously won't be able to turn it on yet because we haven't set up oil yet, but at least get it staged out to the point where it can be hooked up. We can build all the machines and everything, just can't hook any. I can't hook certain inputs up, like the plastic and the sulfur. So we're going to do that, and then following that, we'll set up some labs over here on the bus, and we'll be able to start doing research for science that takes gray science. Speaking of which, let's go ahead and get some of these other things started, like modular armor. Because we do still have a little bit of red and green science left over here, and when I say a little bit, I mean more than a little bit. But I did go through and first off, I disconnected the inputs to the smelting arrays. So that means that we'll burn through these items here, and it's in here at least a little bit, and then there won't be as much stuff to have to deal with over here one way or another. But I did also disconnect the inputs into the various builds over here because we have all this stuff replicated now somewhere on the bus. So we don't need this starter bus anymore. But I figure we can at least let some of the science burn through, and I didn't disconnect this one. Oopsie. Oh well. I didn't disconnect that one either. Man, am I broken. So I forgot to disconnect red science, but it's all right. And eventually we'll come over here and pick all this junk up, and then head back, bring it over to the main area, and we won't have this stuff over here anymore. Until then, though, let's go ahead and start building gray science. So right now we have a belt here. Actually, let me do one other thing. Right now we have a belt here of red and green science. I want to allocate a few belts worth of space here. Probably like that, maybe. And that'll be space over here that gets used for science. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the first one will be red and green. And what this is something that I figured out, I don't remember, a couple of series ago on Twitch. Basically, and I think I even stole this idea from Catherine Sky, as I do most of my ideas. But basically, it's a science bus that brings the science back and forth here within the area of the. Actually, I wonder if that should be further up that way. I think it should. Shoot. Okay. Within the area of the science. Oh, my inventory is full. Great. Within the area of the science over here, so that we can. Wow. Geez, I'm getting distracted. So that we can manage how the science is working and everything. I think this should be far enough, though. Just one more. And the idea is if I have the first machine here, I want a little bit of wiggle room there. I'm thinking also for stone bricks for the walls, for the science, for the gray science. But I'm jumping ahead here. Let's do this. Can I make a modular armor with what I have? No, we need red circuits for modular armor. Okay. We'll get those later. Okay, so let's look at gray science. Gray science needs ammo, and grenades, and walls. And this makes 2 science packs. So even though it takes 10 seconds of crafting time each, whereas this took 5 seconds crafting time each, we need half as many machines because it produces 2. So you can kind of quickly eyeball this math and say, well, wait a minute. If this produces 1 pack, it takes 5 seconds. If this produces 2 packs, it takes 5 seconds. Those are the same number. And they are. So we can actually just set up gray science, the exact same number of machines, that is 10 machines. And I'm gonna do it over here a little bit, and then we're going to move it back in. But this is 10 machines of gray science, and I'm not going to build them all because we're going to move stuff around here. Okay, so that is, let's look at this here. 10 machines making gray signs. So that's 10 of these items needed. The next thing, piercing rounds magazines. Actually, I'm going to do the walls first. The walls, we need 2 walls every 10 seconds times 10 machines. So it's 2 walls every second. And walls take a half a second to make 5. Well, that's easy. That means it's a second to make 10, which means we need 1 wall assembler. And what I do with a wall assembler is I put it right in here. And basically I do the same thing with it as I'm doing with the gears here for the red signs, basically. And I'm just going to keep doing some of these researches here, red, green stuff, like speed modules, stuff. Ooh, we could do cliff explosives. We're going to need those soon anyway. I'm not doing them yet. So we need 1 wall assembler for 10 of these. Pretend there's 10 of them here. And so I can do the same kind of concept as I do here with the iron and bring the walls in like this. We're probably going to need, yeah, we're going to need 3 inserters here. So it's going to be a little bit crowded. And then you can take the walls out like this down this side. So the other items we need, let me do it from here, are 1 piercing round magazine every 10 seconds. So 1 piercing round magazine every second because we have 10 machines that need it. 1 piercing rounds magazine every second means we need 3 piercing round magazines because they take 3 seconds each. 3 piercing round magazines assemblers, excuse me. So that means we need to have 5 copper plates a second, 1 steel plate a second, 1 firearm magazine a second. Because there's 3 of these, so that recipe is perfect. And then if we need 1 magazine, 1 firearm magazine a second for the piercing rounds, that means we need 1 of these assemblers, which means we need another 4 iron per second. So we can kind of do the same kind of build for the piercing round magazines and the magazines as we did kind of right here, only but half of this, or even better, a better example would be, whoa, too far, Wally, would be one of these arrays right in here. This kind of thing, at least. So we can use this kind of array, although I'm going to do it a little bit differently, but I'll take the buildings at least, and we can set those up, and I'm just going to drop them down for right now. I'm not going to actually build them or anything. I'm going to do another module while we're doing this. These are just the productivity and speed and efficiency modules, level 1, that get used eventually. Actually, I really don't ever use the level 1s. I usually will do the level 3s. But they are, and the level 3s are made way down here. They're just modules that affect the way that machines produce items, and we can talk about those if you don't know about them in a much later episode when it's time to kind of talk about them. Or when I start to use them, I should say. So finally, we need 1 grenade per second. And 1 grenade is going to take 8 seconds to craft, so we need 8 machines to make 1 per second. So that means we need to have 10 coal and 5 iron per second. So if we have 10 coal that we need on this, and we have 5 iron here, plus 4 iron here, that's 9 iron per second total. And then we need 5 copper plates and 1 steel plate per second as well. There's a couple different ways to do this, of course. There always are. But we can do... Oh, well, first of all, we need to have the grenade machines here. And I'm just going to put down 2 of them for right now, just to mark the place. But we can do something similar to this, where we have a copper belt, but we actually don't need a whole belt of copper. We have a steel belt, but we don't need a whole... We can have just a half a belt of steel like this. But we do probably need a whole belt of iron. And that belt of iron could be shared between these 2 assembler rows if we wanted to. So we could have a belt of iron here. We could have a belt of coal on this side, say right here. We could have an output belt here that took the grenades out from here and took the... what, these take 8 seconds? Yeah, that should be fine. And take the ammo output from here and put them onto this belt. And this belt can be brought across like this somehow and up into here to be able to be picked up into the gray science. Now, the gray science has 3 inputs, which we haven't dealt with before as far as science. So the idea here would be to have the walls come onto this belt, and they can just be on half the belt, because we only need a couple per second, and then have a gray science output here on half of this belt. So that's the idea that I'm kind of working off of. But let's come back over here now. So coal here, we could do a half a belt of copper, half a belt of steel here, and then we could do a half belt of the ammo here, the yellow ammo that gets picked up and put back into these machines. The issue here is that this might be a little too tight for a red inserter to put 1 ammo per second. Actually, no, this should be fine, right? We can always put a second red inserter too. Yeah. We'll do it. We're going to go with it. So how do I want to tighten this up now? This is pretty good here, but this all could come over 1 space. And of course, I don't have bots, so I have to do this all manually. But this could come over 1 space, like that. And then this one is fine. I don't need to actually take that one out, but I do need to take this one out. Actually, I did need to take it out. I need to make it go that way instead. And then this needs to get moved so it goes like this. And you all can go away. So that should be the sort of edge pattern for gray science. And now we just need to kind of hook up the inserters, and I guess we can hook these guys up too. And I'm fine with this bit of space here. It's always good to leave a little bit of wiggle room in things. Okay, so this needs to be coal coming in here. And then we have copper coming in here, copper and steel, I should say, and iron coming in here. And this one's coal, and this is stone bricks. So we have 4 input belts here. These can output, we'll just do 2 inserters like I mentioned, although I think I want to put them there. Because I think I'm going to have power poles here. And there, and there, and there. And that covers the whole thing laterally as well. And so these will pick up, and we only need 1 here, so 1 of those. Actually, I'm going to move it down. And then we need a blue inserter picking up the copper and the steel here. We also need an inserter picking up iron here. And it's going to pick up 4 per second, so we might want 2. Did we do 2 over here? No, we only did 1. I think we'll be fine with 1. A blue inserter can swing about 2.5 times per second. And we're going to get some inserter bonus here soon. The stack inserter capacity. Inserter capacity bonus. Okay, so we need to get down to here, but we're going to get to there. Down here on this one, there's a non-stack inserter capacity +1, which will let the blue, red, and yellow inserters all pick up 2 items at a time instead of 1. We need to get to that point. So let's go ahead and take stack inserters and get our way to that point, because that'll make sure that this works most efficiently. And then we finally need an output for these here and here. And then this can come down there. Nope, that's not what I wanted. I want it there. Which means I want it there, which means I want one of these here. And then these come in here as well. Let me move these power poles as well then. Okay. That should be fine. Although I'm always torn on this. That is actually better. Well, I can't really undo. Because I don't have bots yet. Alright. Let's put them back down there. So I'm always torn on where to position the power poles. And the reason that I'm torn on that is, on one hand, a power pole in this position that I have it in now covers the entire area of the height of those two machines. So it's kind of like a self-contained unit. On the flip side, putting the power poles... Good Lord, Molly. Putting the power poles in a different... In the configuration I just tried to do, or I wanted to do. Can I get these to not be crisscrossy? No. Oh well. Means that the inserters aren't set up the way that I like. So it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen the other, I suppose. But it works fine. Okay, so then we need to have, let's see, iron, which is going to get input in from the far. And I can just do like these. I'm out of red inserters. Mall, where are you at, Mall? Run, run, run. Mall, mall, mall. And we might have run out of stuff to feed the science here. Yeah, we ran out of green science because I cut the iron off. Maybe I shouldn't have cut the iron off. Yeah. Okay. So, inserting the iron in here. We also need to insert the coal in here. So these can be just blue inserters. And then we need to output the gray science, or sorry, the wait a minute. No. We need to output the grenades there onto this belt here, along with the ammo. So they share a belt, and the good thing about them sharing a belt is, nope, there's one of each. So even if you scale this up a lot, which that's what make this recipe really nice. Even if you scale this up a lot to where you need to have a full or half a yellow belt or even a half a red belt of ammo and grenades, you can do that, and you still only need one belt running these things. And at that point, if you're making that much gray science and you want to have that many walls, you just need to output the walls onto both sides of the belt. Now, of course, this one wall assembler is not going to accomplish that, so you'd have to do the walls a little bit differently in this case, but I'm not going to get there, so I'm not worried about it. All right, so we need to continue this along. We need to have, I usually will do 3 inserters here. This one being on the elbow isn't great for it because it doesn't always pick up items reliably, but we don't totally need 3 inserters. I mean, yes, we need 5 items every half second, but once we get that stack bonus here, these guys will be swinging, what do they swing? What was it again? 2.5 bit times. So we probably only really need 2 inserters here, but this one's just there to make sure everything's working okay. And then this one outputs onto the far side of this belt, which it doesn't really matter because the only thing that's going to be on this belt. And then we have inserters picking up these 2. And inserters picking up from these. And so this is the part that I don't like about this build. You know what? What I'm going to do is I'm going to move... I can't do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move this down and put a space in here. Just because... I want this repeatable pattern, and I can't get it the way that I want it. And then this is going to output onto that belt over there and onto the far side of it. So the beauty of this whole thing is that we can make blue science over here, just like we did with red and green. We can make blue science over here and output it onto the far side of this belt, which is the left side from this perspective, and we have a belt of blue and gray science together. So this one's good. This needs to be extended a few times. I think it was 8 assemblers. And then the only thing is the flaw still exists in my design. Let me take this out and put them over here instead. You can go there and there. There, not you, and there. And then I can put this power pole in here instead. And then I can carry along the design correctly. Okay. And then we need the blue inserters too. Inserter. And then this belt comes all the way down. This belt goes all the way up. I know I'm missing a couple more inserters up above, but that's fine. This one comes all the way down to there, because that's the coal coming in, and then that belt is part of the other thing. Okay, that's the only inserter I missed. And then finally, this needs to be replicated here. So we take this from here, and we need to make 10 of these. So it's trunks in the way. 1, 6, 8, and 10. And I can just do these and run along, and it'll place them, just like before. Be careful not to clear my blueprint there. And then, of course, these also have the same problem. So I could have put these... Yes, I should put these here. Instead of there, my inserter should be out like this, if I'm going to be particular about this whole thing. And then these should be over here. Boom, boom. Like that. Nope, nope. Wild. And that can stop there. And then this can go this way. You two, you two, you two, you two, and you. And just like before over here, we don't really need the blue inserters on the inputs to the signs, nor, I mean, the red ones are because it's distance, but we don't really need the blue inserters on the inputs because it's 1 or 2 items a second. Or 1 or 2 items every 10 seconds. So we don't need blue inserters, but at this point in the game, I only use yellows for smelting. So that's kind of how this works. The other thing that I wanted to do, well, let's go ahead and, now let's go over here and do the other thing. I want to start putting up a power bus, a real power bus, not these tiny power poles. And the real power bus I do is with a bunch of steel power poles. So I'm going to break all of this power here and there. All of these things are getting cut off, at least back to a certain point. I'll figure out what I'm going to do from there on in, which will probably be this point right here. Steel power poles, or large power poles. So these have a maximum range, which is right there. If I was down there close enough to it. Right there. And so what I want to do is take a blueprint of that using the copy-paste utility, or tool, or whatever you want to call it. And I just want to find a spot here that makes sense for this blueprint, for this power bus. And I think what I'm going to do is, ooh, no, I don't want that there. Is probably right about here. I want to do at least a couple of spaces away from the last bus line. And that is good. Because, yes, that's perfect. That's where I want it. And then I can put this down. And that'll connect in there. And then I can just keep going through now and putting these down. Like, oh, that was luck. Putting these down, and hopefully they miss the belts that I already have established. They don't always, but hopefully they do. And then, of course, you need to also make sure that you bring a large power pole into each one of your assemblies so that you can connect power back up to those things. So make sure you do. Why did those have lights and these ones don't? Because I never placed them. That's why. There. Who did this? Don't answer that question. That should be there. Oopsie. Okay. And then the mall is connected because it's still connected over here. And then we can just do the same thing here with the mall. And actually, I want to move this one over by 1 pixel. 1 tile, not pixel. And then put this down here. Fill these up. Boom, boom, boom. And usually what I'll do is I'll put the radars next to the power pole. And you're going to need to have a connection. Ooh, right there. I don't know why those are there specifically other than for that reason, but they're there, so that's where they're going to get used at. And so then do one more. And, you know, the red-green here, we could do just one to support the whole red-green assembly. And then this one can go here. And of course, I put an input belt right there. And I'm not moving this because that would take manually moving it. But that's why, as you'll see in a moment, why I put it exactly this far away from the last bus lines. Okay. So this comes into here, and I'm just going to put it there. And now, iron comes in here. And we need to have an iron belt going right here. Yes, right here. Copy that and paste it. And I can't draw straight lines. And then the coal belt, which we don't have run to the bus yet, it can go like this underneath the power pole. Or I could move the power pole aside, but it doesn't matter. And then this way there's enough room here for the underground to come up and then another one to go under. That's why I put it where I put it. And then finally we have, eventually over here, stone brick. And then we'll have also here, copper and steel. Copper's coming in here, so it'll need to get split like this, and then steel will go like this. Excellent. Steel and stone and all that stuff is way down here. And I might as well bring... Actually, I don't... Oh, yeah, I do. You need stone for purple science to make the rails for purple science, so you need to keep that one coming along. But actually, stone brick can stop here. It doesn't need to go further along the bus. Some people prefer to have the stuff continuing along the bus. Some people don't. I'm kind of two minds on it. I don't want all that junk on my bus. On the other hand, I don't want an empty space on my bus either, because then I'll forget what it is maybe later and then have a problem. But I guess I can figure that out when it's time. And the steel we need to bring down here. But I will probably be the type that extends it all the way down. I think these are in the middle. That's what I get for doing these weird. Yeah, they're in the middle. And then this can go like that. And then this can go like that. So we should now be able to make... Oh, we need the coal. We need coal first. We can't make gray science yet. So coal, I'm also going to run down these same belts here where the stone and stone bricks are. I'm not really particular about which belt it's on, just as long as it's on one of those belts. And I think I'm just going to siphon it, at least for now, because we don't need that much. Siphon it right here off of the smelting line, like this. And then I'm just going to go, oh no, go like this. And then squiggle it along with these guys here for now. And then the fourth belt in this group will be sulfur crystals. Okay. That's the card moving on me again. Trying to compensate for it. Oh, hello, tree. Nice to meet you. Okay, so this goes here. This goes here. And then this one, we need to put a splitter here to take the coal in. So we'll put the splitter right there. And then we'll have a undergroundy here. And there we go. So that's coal once it gets here. And we have gray science. Now, of course, gray science took me a lot longer than I intended. And it's now, because everything takes me longer than I intend. And it's now 30 minutes into the episode. So I'm not going to start on blue science today. The advantage to that is I can go up and actually reactivate some of this old research and get it going again. I can hook those belts back up to the green science. And we can process some more of the red-green research on that starter base until we get this going enough to have some labs built on the other side of blue science. As far as this bus goes here, I do need to move this some more. Because this still wasn't good enough. So maybe I can go, let's see, I want to have... Is that going to be good enough? Barely, so no. So we'll go there. These 4 belts will be the new science bus. So I need to do underground for there, just to mark it out, like that. And then these will go this way, and so then of course I need to underground these, which means I'm getting a bunch of stuff in my inventory. Oh, that's perfect. I didn't even plan that. Good eye, Wally. Okay. And then this goes here. And that'll continue on into the science area. And then this one can do some maneuver like this and into the library, I should say, into the lab area. Okay, here come the grenades. We have ammo, of course, building up on the belt there, but the grenades are going to take get built up, and it's going to take a moment for this stuff to make. Ah, there we have gray science. Okay, so that's it for right now. In the next episode, we'll build out, or at least plot out, the blue science, and then we can put down some new labs. We can grab them out of the mall right there. We have a chest full of 10 of them. We'll put those down. We'll eventually steal the labs out of the starting area over here, and then go from there. So I will probably do a couple of more researches off camera, and then come back and do some more on camera, just to get the inserter to where I want it, down this list here, down to here, and also maybe that's probably all I'll do. So thank you all for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. I hope the explanation about the making of gray science makes sense, and I will see you all next time. Bye for now.